live NBA tonight chat with Big Walt. You got Big Walt Pro over there on YouTube channel, and we got Bo Dunn at Bo Dunn Wins channel. We're going to talk about the NBA games tonight on TNT. So first off, we're going to have the Lakers coming in to play Philadelphia 76ers. I got baseball on my mind. I'm ready. So the
I'm
line
ready for
opened
that
up
too.
at 4.5.
Mm.
Um, no, it opened up at 2.5. Excuse me, and the line is now 4.5, and the total started at 217, and now it's up to 219. So, what do you like in this game? Well, where are you on this game?
I have my two picks for the day are going to be the player props. The first one is LeBron James over 28 and a half points, but since then he's been listed as questionable. I'm not sure. I haven't seen what kind of injuries or anything like that, but more than likely he'll go. I mean, if you look at LeBron in his career versus Philadelphia, the 76ers averaging 27 points per game, and on the road against them, he's averaging the same amount of points. And this year, just looking at how he's his focus has been scoring the ball, right? So I look at it, I don't see anybody on that Philadelphia team that's going to be able to guard him. He's looking to score. So if he was averaging 27 points in his career when before he's more so on getting the team involved. Now you see from the get go, he's going straight at it, getting the offensive, getting to the basket, shooting threes. I definitely think he'll be able to get maybe even 30 in this game. And last game he didn't shoot the three ball as well. The last couple of games, I think he's due. A three or four 3-point shots made game, and I think this could be it. And then in that same game, I had to go with Joel Embiid over 33 and a half points, right? In his career, against the Lakers, it's only been 6 games, but he's averaging 31 points. The Lakers defense, as far as points allowed, they're all the way at number 26. They're in the bottom half of the NBA when it comes to guarding the center position. And right now, it doesn't matter what team, it could be the number one team guarding against the center. I don't think any team is going to be able to stop him right now. He's averaging 40 points the last 3 games playing at home. They're going to need him to score to win in this game. So I definitely like that Joel Embiid over 33 and a half points. And those are my two picks. And actually, you know, if LeBron doesn't play, I definitely like this to go under. I mean, even with them playing, I think it definitely have a strong likelihood to go under. Just looking at the pace that Philly will play more than likely.
Yeah, I agree on the under as well. They played Tuesday against Brooklyn, and that stayed well under the total, 106 to 96. The Lakers sometimes slow it down, and then when they're at home, it seems like they push the pace. What
Yeah.
do you see in this game, Bo? What do you like? What are you looking at in this game?
I got one play in this game. It's a player prop. I like Matisse Thybulle. I like him over 2.5 steals and blocks. Now I
Yep.
looked this up. This on DraftKings at +100. I'm saying, we got Curry out for this game. Also, Green is out. A couple more players gonna be missing. So in his last 17 games, he covered this number in 14. And I think he'll have more playing time. At least, I think he'll at least play at least 25 minutes in this game. So if we get to that, I really like it even more. So um, in those 17 games, like I said, he did this. And the thing I like about this guy, if you watch him play, this guy is like I mean, he's really a good defensive player. And the Lakers are number 23 on turnovers. They're ranked number 23 on turnovers, and they're fourth in steals, giving up steals. So I think this sets up good for this guy. Like I said, I think he'll have enough playing time with those guys out. So like I said, you can find this on DraftKings. 14 out of the last 17 times did this. That's 83% cashing. So I
And
like
what's that
him.
number?
Talking about the odds,
No, the total. How many does he need?
2.5 over 2.5 blocks and steals. And you can
Okay, I
find it
like
on
it.
You can find it on DraftKings at plus 100 odds. Like I said, he cashed this in 14 of his last 17 games that he played over 25 minutes, and that's 83%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
So
sounds real juicy. That's one of those plays
yeah,
you might catch before halftime.
Yeah.
Sometime.
yeah.
I
Like
like
I
those.
say, I say the Lakers give up a lot of turnovers. They know what I'm saying, they rank 23rd in the league. You know what I'm saying? They forward and giving up steals. So like I say, this I've been watching this guy. You know what I'm saying? He's a defensive, you know what I'm saying, type of person. So it seemed like he like 5 people on the field at one time. I mean, this guy be everywhere. So if you check the game out tonight, just check him out, man. You'll see what I'm talking about. But
All
yeah,
right, we're gonna play that.
yeah,
We're gonna get this video in, and we're gonna go play that.
yeah, I like that a lot.
Very good, very good. And I think I'm gonna roll with the under. It started at 217. It's pushed up to 219. I'm wait closer to game. Do you guys do a lot of live betting or much? I live bet a lot, but I do
Uh,
like the under.
I'm trying to get the hang of it. You gotta be fast, you know what I'm saying? Put them live bets in. With me being in my situation, the lines always moving so quick. So I do a halftime bet. So
Right, the halftime. But yeah, the live you have to be quick because it can change in
mm-hmm.
6 points and come in 20 seconds. If you're just even delayed a little, you could be on the
Yeah,
wrong end real quick.
especially in basketball games, they move so quick.
Exactly. Yeah, basketball is something you can definitely get caught on the wrong end if you're not up to date with things. Because they'll try to hook you too. They'll try to squeeze you a point or two every now and then on them
Oh
live
yeah,
bets.
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what? I started. I haven't done as much live bets with NBA. In, like Novemberish, I did a lot with college basketball during that around those Thanksgiving tournaments. And what I started doing is as soon as it's a timeout or um, any type of timeout, I would hop on there because that's usually when the lines will stay for at least a good minute, two
Yeah,
minutes.
they'll settle down and you can see what you're working with. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Betting there at the commercial timeout is usually the best. Trying to get it, because we may be, I'm on direct TV and I could be delayed 20 seconds sometimes of what's really going on. There could be a foul. There could be
Yeah, it does.
something could happen,
Yeah,
So,
I just keep my eye on it, when it's moving, and as soon as that timeout comes or that break, then I'm like, okay. And then some of the sports books, they'll actually have it where you can watch it, so it usually kind of sync when they go on a break on there. The line will stop moving and stuff like that. So I usually
Okay,
try to
yeah,
watch it on there as well.
but
yeah.
basketball is one of the easiest sports to live bet, in my opinion, because there's so many runs. Just like any game, like let's say they start out fast tonight, they score 12 points in the first 2.5 minutes. They bump that line so high, they're going to have over, they're going to set the total at 224 or something. And I'm still believing that it's going to go under so I can get a better value. And just like when games start out, the Bulls take an 8 point lead against Utah or somebody, let's just say, and you liked Utah, there's so many streaks back and forth, so many runs, teams go on 10-2 runs and 12-4 runs. And, you know, I feel like I can get a good pace of the game, good feel of the game. And a lot of times figure out who's really into the game, who's playing, especially guys like James Harden, I don't know what nights he's going to play and what nights he's going to just take the night off.
Yeah, I was shocked. I didn't, that was kind of late because earlier that yesterday afternoon they had his lineup for the prop bets. His line was up, and then it must have been like early evening before the game. It was gone.
Yeah,
I
man,
wasn't
that's what
expecting
makes it
him
so
not to
hard.
play.
That what make it so
Yeah.
hard to cap these NBA games.
Oh, not only with COVID, but yeah, when guys are going to rest. Like last week, I had the Bucks
Yeah,
game,
it's just
and Giannis
crazy.
sat out
Yeah, yeah, I had that one too. I was like, oh, come on. And it was a great matchup for him against the Kings, I think it was.
against the
Against
Kings.
the
Correct.
Kings. And I'm like, why would they, and you don't get any warning because it was even out on the lines. They had lines for him, and then they
Yeah,
just rest them. And
I
then,
mean, sometimes these guys they'll announce these guys out 10 minutes before the game.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you just gotta be aware of that, man. This, for the last couple of years, that's been really rampant in the NBA.
Well, and I don't know how you feel when I see something like that. Sometimes I'll just lose the juice and I'll bet the other side and take a middle, basically. You know, I don't let it ride. I'll lose the juice. I'll lose $20 or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
then to watch my bet just not going to have a really chance. Say I have the Sixers tonight, and Embiid doesn't play. The line's going to change 6 points, 5 points right there usually. Or let's say LeBron doesn't play. Now the line right now is 4.5. I got it this morning at -3. So
Yeah. And it also
who knows
affects
what's
the
going to happen?
totals. It also affects them totals too.
Yep.
So if you like an over or under, and you got somebody like LeBron sitting out, that's 27, 30 points out the game.
Right.
And that's like with the spreads, like that's one of the reasons I started leaning the last couple of weeks, leaning more towards prop bets too, because if the guy don't play, void it,
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah.
and with the teams that I do like the spread, I'll either wait until like literally sometimes as soon as I see that lineup posted that those are, and sometimes it's 10 minutes before they post that lineup, unless it's a team where you know I don't think they're gonna rest a lot of players, but even if they rest one guy that's a starter or a valuable starter, I still feel like they'll still cover the spread, depending
Right.
on who they're playing. Like, if Milwaukee is playing, I don't know, let's say
Indiana.
Houston, yeah, something like that, and it's -2 or something along that line. I'm not too worried, or -10. I'm not too worried about them not being able to cover the spread at home against a Houston team. Who knows who they might have out as well. So,
Right.
and then their best player right now, at least points wise, is Christian Wood. So,
Right. Right. And I also seen like on the other side, like when you have a star player out, you always have that next man mentality. So a lot of times those teams, that first game, when they have a big player out, they normally cover those spreads. So I've been looking for spots like that too, like when Indiana just played the Warriors, a couple of days ago. I think right before the game, the whole starting lineup was out. And they had a second string squad in there. They came into Indiana and won the game, meaning wow, the Warriors and won that game. Remember that?
yeah, yeah,
It was on
and
their back to back when they played the Lakers. They beat the Lakers and they went right back on the next day with a whole different squad of people. So I always look at those spots too. So even though a key player may be out, they still might be a good bet sometimes in those situations.
yeah, and it's kind of tricky too because I know at some point, like yesterday, was it yesterday when the Nets played? Yeah, it was yesterday. The Nuggets, and when Harden was out, I think that the Nuggets they hopped on them real fast, and the Nets, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken, they probably covered that spread because I'm sure without James Harden, without Kyrie, that's without Durant, that's a good live bet to look at because I think everybody thought that, especially the way Denver, came out, that they were going to just blow them off their own court,
Exactly.
but
That's yeah. So that's a good point I was just making right there.
and that's something else. I'm gonna have to take a look at that too, and
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting because then you have some teams like the other night, Milwaukee and Cleveland. I mean I know Milwaukee was on the road. I mean, don't get me wrong, Cleveland is good. Um, they got a good defense, but that game was just it, it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't. The Bucks shouldn't have lost by 20 points, 20 plus
Right.
points to Cleveland. Not when you
Well,
got.
And
I'll share something
actually,
with you. I've been taking the Hornets, the Cavs, and the Memphis Grizzlies all year and just killing it because these are young guys, healthy, hungry. They're hungry
Mm-hmm.
and they're not taking nights off. I mean, look at the Hornets, and that's the Lakers play the Hornets tomorrow night, and I'm looking at that the minute the line comes out because the Hornets got 5 guys that can put up 20, 25 points every night,
Yep.
you know, and Memphis as well, you know. Of course, John Morant's leading the squad, but they've got other guys that can really put up their points, and Cleveland as well. There's always that next man up, and they're young, they're hungry, and
And that was
these
one of the
older
reasons.
teams.
Yeah,
Go
that
ahead,
was one
Bo.
of the reasons why I took Cleveland yesterday. I took them straight up on the money line.
Yeah, at home,
That was one of the main reasons why I took them.
And when they play a top-notch team, you know, the world champs, the Bucks, they're going to bring their A game, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
And Cleveland against the spread is phenomenal. I mean, they're like 80% this year. They've just been covering every game.
Yeah,
So let's talk about the. Go ahead.
I was
Oh,
going
go
to say,
ahead.
and especially like Memphis, I like Memphis a lot. You know,
I
like
like
you
Memphis
said,
a lot too.
Desmond Bain can give you 20 any night. Jackson, Morant, when Dillon Brooks is out there healthy, then you got Jones coming off the bench. You know, he can
Yeah.
score too. He can score. When he get his opportunity, he's another guy. He get his opportunity, he's going to score. Then they got I think he's a rookie, Williams. You
Yeah,
know, shooting guard, he's pretty good too. They got you know, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or two they really knocking at the door to be in the championship coming out the West. It would
I
not
agree.
surprise.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this Minnesota Golden State game. You got Minnesota getting 6 points, and the total set at 229. What do you like in that, Wall? Who do you think's going to take this game? Minnesota going into Golden State.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Minnesota, and
Yeah,
I'm the reason I'm gonna take Minnesota. I think it's gonna go over too, but the when I'm right now I'm looking at Golden State, and you can tell without Draymond Green, they don't get as many easy shots as they usually do. I think that's one of the reasons Steph Curry is struggling as in that slump. That slump started right around that time when Draymond got hurt, right before Clay came back. He's been on that slump, you know, and I think Draymond initiates that offense so much. I don't think he gets the credit for as much as he does. I also think if he was playing, you know, Clay would you know, he might be losing 5 points he could have you know 5 more points added to his average right now if he had Draymond out there seeing the floor passing when he's out there. I mean, Draymond averaging what almost 8-9 assists a game, and he's their big man. So I definitely think Minnesota, they have, you know, you got Towns can give you 20 plus any night. Russell can give you 20 plus any night. You have you know, the second year player Anthony Edwards, he can give you 20 plus
Edwards.
any
Yeah,
night. Yeah. And then they actually, if I'm not mistaken, they played them like the 16th and they beat them in Golden State. No, wait, I think what they in Golden? No,
maybe
they were in
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, and they beat them by like 20 points. At the end of the day, I think Golden State being Golden State, them going into Golden State, I think they're gonna bring the A game. You know, all those guys are there. Those the big three, they're gonna be there. I mean, Beverly is out, you know, but I don't think that's gonna, you know, move the needle too much. I think his defense right now is a little bit more overrated than what it has been in, you know, years past. But I would not be surprised if Minnesota was to win this game. It wouldn't shock me at all because, you know, I lately the way Golden State has been playing offensively, I'm not sure that they can keep up with Minnesota shooting the ball and scoring the way Russell's been hot lately. You know, I think Edwards had like 40 points the other night or something like
Yeah,
that.
the other night.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I like the Timberwolves.
So you think you're getting a great play on 6 points?
Uh, yeah, I would take because they I would take Minnesota +6.
What do you got, Bo? What do you like in this game?
Got another prayer prop for y'all. And just on the point they just made, Steph Curry have been in the slump. Way back, I think it started by November the 30th. And so I'm gonna take his player prop over 3.5 threes. Now all year, they're propping up at least 4.5, 5.5. And
Yeah, that
I think
seems
we
real
get,
low.
yeah, I think we get great value, just because of that slump. Even though he's been on that slump since November the 30th, he cashed over this in 17 out of 25 games. So that's 68% right there. So I think we can take advantage of the bookmakers lowering this line because Steph has been shooting, I think, like 33% behind the stripe. So I think that he'll get 4 tonight, man. So I'm gonna take that as the player prop. Also, I do like a 2-team parlay. I'm just gonna take a money line and pair up the fifth and 76ers and Golden State, man. I think Golden State to get the win, but I do think that Minnesota keep it close. But I like the Golden State to get the win. So you pair those up. I think it pays out like plus 120, even money. So
And
those,
what's
that's
your
what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying?
and what's
I
your
also got
line on the Steph Curry? Is it minus 110, minus 115, something in that
it's
neighborhood?
it's it's minus 140.
Minus
It's minus
140 over
140.
3.5
Yeah,
three
you
pointers.
know what I'm saying. If you want to get a little better odds, you can take it up to 4.5. I think he'll, shock and free people tonight, man. Like I say, he went over this 3.5, 6 to 8% since he been in a slump. So, even when he's slumping, he's still putting up 4.4 threes in a game in the average since that time.
Oh yeah, that's another one that could cash by half. I mean, I've seen him light
Yeah.
up 5 3 pointers
Yeah, so
in
that's
the
so that's
first
when I
quarter and a
seen that
half.
3.5, when I seen that 3.5, I jumped right on it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I'll tell
yeah,
you
so
what, I'm going to go with the under in this game. I think it's set too high, 229. Golden State's one of the best defenses in the league, only allowing 101 points a game. So their games have been trending towards the under. I think 229 is going to be tough to hit tonight. So I'm definitely I'm all over the under in this game.
that's one of
Golden
my
State,
plays too. That's one of my plays too, Johnny.
yeah, they blew Dallas out the other night, 130 to 92, and it went way over. Um, but I
I
don't
think
see
that's the
that.
only way. I think that's the only way that they could take, be able to cover the spread. They got to play good defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I put that play out on the video under
Um,
229.
the most important thing to me as I looked into the game is both these teams turn the ball over a ton. They both turn the ball over about 15 times a game, and that's a lot in the NBA. They're both in the bottom of the league with turnovers. And there again, that leans towards the under to me. When you've wasted 12 or 15 seconds off the time clock, off the shot clock, and then you turn the ball over, it just digs up the time. So I definitely like the under in this game,
Yeah,
229.
Golden State know they're in the slump. They know that. So I think
Yeah,
I think they're gonna slow this game down. You know
I
what I'm
think
saying?
so
Just
too.
try to
Each possession will be important.
Yeah, I think they'll slow it
I
down.
don't know. I don't know if they're gonna be able to because if Minnesota is pushing that pace, they might have to and that's a good point. Both of those teams turn the ball over quite a bit. So it'd be curious to see how many fast break points they get, how many off of turnovers and all that. That could change the complexion of the game
Yeah,
quite quite quickly. They
yeah,
start the game off and turning the ball over a lot, and both of those guys, they got guys that can run up and down the floor, get some easy buckets in the paint, some dunks, some layups. So I mean, I that that'll be interesting. That would be interesting to
yeah. I
see.
just I just think at 229, man, it just got too high.
It is. That's 57.5 points per quarter. You have one bad quarter where you only scored 48, let's just say. That definitely leans towards the
Yeah,
under
just
once you've hit that. It's hard to make
yeah,
those points up. So I think under is the best play in that game, under 229.
yeah. That's what I'm on. Yeah,
So all right, guys, it looks like we got about 30 minutes. No, I guess it's an hour. It's another hour. They're not tipping off until 7:30 tonight. Looks like.
hmm
So
so
want to
yeah, man.
recap your play, Bo? What'd you have in the first game? Over two and a
Uh,
half steals.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For Thybulle, over 2.5 blocks and steals, plus 100 on DraftKings. Steph Curry, over 3.5 3 pointers at minus 140. That's on DraftKings as well. And I got them parlayed together. Philadelphia and Golden State. That's like plus 120. And I got that under as well in the Golden State game, under 229. That's what I'm rocking with tonight.
All right. And you, Walt, you're going to recap here? You got.
Yep, I got the first game. I'm going with hopefully LeBron plays over 28.5 points for a player prop, and Joel Embiid over 33.5 points for his player prop. And for the second game, I like Minnesota to cover +6, and I like the over. I like the over. I mean, both teams, the last 5 matchups in Golden State have went over. They played earlier, the 16th, earlier this month, and it went over. So I think they'll hit the over. They'll hit the over. I like the over anyway.
Yeah.
Very good. And I've got
those some scary trends right there, Big Walk. Yeah.
I'm mostly an under player. So I'm going to stick with my unders. I got under 229 Golden State, under 219 in the Philly game, and I took Philadelphia -3. So those are my plays, and that's usually I'm that guy. I always play the unders. I know the public loves the shootouts, the big scoring games. I play the unders, and I play a lot of dogs. I like having points.
Yeah. I'm an unders guy too, Johnny.
Yeah. And it's tough,
You know why I like unders? Because as soon as the game come on, your ticket already winning. You know, they got to beat me.
Yeah, the toughest part about the unders is when you get down to 2 minutes left and it's a 4-point game, and they're fouling each other, and you just watch that number and now you're hoping for missed free throws. It can be tough. Hey,
man, betting the unders will it's not good for your health, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It ain't good for your health, man. But
I would prefer to sit there and root for them to go over, and every time the ball going, I'd rather see it go in the net than hope it bounce off the rim, because it's just
it's not fun, Big Walk.
Yeah, it's more stressful to me than watching them get the over. Because like. It's gone. That free throw line has hurt me enough for me to be like, I'm done with the unders. It has to be something that I cannot resist for me to take an under bet. I'm gonna have to. It's gonna be one that I just feel like, there's no way they hit the over in this one.
Right.
Yeah, I've made a living off March Madness playing the unders. I'll tell you that.
It's just something that I had to learn to get used to. When I started realizing that, more public people bet overs in favor.
Yes, the public.
When I learned that, I had to condition my mind, to take some underdogs, take some unders, and it's done changed the game for me. It ain't fun, but it's cash and tickets though.
I like Dunn. I don't mind taking an underdog to win or to cover the spread or when but I don't know and that's a good point too. Like the general public probably do bet overs more.
Oh yeah, 75%. Yeah.
And then this year, like you said, John, with the NBA, it's been a lot of unders, and I know they switched out, the basketball. Like I think they're using is it Spalding now or Wilson? I think they might be using Wilson now, and that affected a lot in the beginning of the season, and it's still doing it now. I mean, it is a different quality basketball, and I think that has a lot to do with a lot of the low scoring.
And another thing that's causing a lot of these games to go under. You got to make a basketball move now to get those fouls.
Oh yeah,
right.
You know, James Harden loves jumping into people. That's not a foul no more. And so that took a lot of games over total. You know what I'm saying? Before they changed that too. So
and I think the league's changed a little bit too. I think teams are playing a little more defense. It seemed like last year nobody was playing defense. Every game was 125, 130, and this year we're down closer to the 100 range, 105s, 108. It just seems like.
You've been seeing games in 95, 93.
Right, which we haven't seen since the 90s,
The 90s, right?
I know.
But then that makes it like, because I figure by All-Star break, they'll probably, fully adjust to, the basketball, you got to be in a shooting motion to get the ball, like a legitimate shooting motion to get the fouls and stuff. I mean, and you do got some Phoenix is going to play defense. You're going to have your Golden State that's going to play defense. You got teams that'll play a lot of defense, because like when I watch it, they still shooting threes and all. It to me it just seemed like the percentage, the shooting percentage went down, and I think, you know, I think it's more to do with that change of the ball than anything, and not being able to get to the free throw line as much, because I don't really think those guys is playing. I think the top tier defensive teams, they're gonna play their defense, but then the others, a lot of times it's just those guys is just not hitting shots. Like
Well, like the Hornets, I can't take an under on the Hornets.
yeah,
They don't play defense. They're
No.
going to outscore you.
No
They're going
way.
to push
Yeah.
the pace.
Right. No
You
way.
know.
and they're one of the
Like the
teams that
Chiefs.
have the most overs. They're in the top 5 in games going overs, and that's another thing. Like if you see a Hornets game and it doesn't go over, it's just because both teams had a bad shooting night.
Yeah.
Because the way they play, up and down, is no way that the other team it's contagious. You're gonna have to match the pace if you want to beat them, and that's most games more than not. The team plays with their pace, the other team.
Right.
Yep. Very good. All right, guys. Let's get our bets in. Let's finish this up. And it was good having you guys on. Very good.
Hey man, let's cash these tickets, man. Good luck to
Yeah.
all y'all. You put your bets. Good luck to everybody out there too, man.
Yeah. Good luck. All right.
All right.
Thanks for coming
All
on,
right,
guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Bo. All right, John.
Good
All
night.
right, Big Will.
Good
All
night.
right, Big Will.